Have you ever asked yourself, are you truly living or merely existing? We're so busy that we forget why we wake up each morning, forgetting that life isn't measured by years, but by the moments when we truly understand why we are alive. People say, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. That quote isn't just philosophy, it's a wake-up call. Because if you haven't yet found your why, then perhaps today is the day to start looking. Read on, reflect, and try to answer this for yourself. What are you living for? And when you finish reading, I'd love to hear your answer. Leave a comment below, even just one line. I live for. Who knows, through these words, we might just find a bit of light together on this very human journey we're all walking. Life is never short of tragedies, but what's even sadder is that people forget how to smile through them. We are born, we grow up, we get busy, and then we quietly leave, sometimes without ever knowing why we came here in the first place. The two most important days in a person's life are still these: the day we are born and the day we understand why. We don't live to prove that we're right. We live to understand that everything in life is worth learning from. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. The real fear is going through life without ever asking, what am I truly living for? If you've made it this far, take a moment. Close your eyes and ask yourself, are you really living for yourself? Or are you just living by someone else's expectations? Because only when you dare to ask that question do you begin to live authentically. Don't wait until the end, when your youth has faded, to realize that you've only ever been a supporting character in your own story. Write it down, right now, in the comments below. I am living for. It doesn't have to be perfect, just honest. Because sometimes, the journey back to yourself begins with one simple, truthful answer. Human beings are the only creatures who can know they're wrong, yet still find reasons to keep being wrong. We learn to hide our weakness behind a smile, our fear behind busyness, and our loneliness behind loud laughter. But no one can hide from themselves forever. One day, when the noise fades and silence settles in, the only thing left will be that small voice inside the one that quietly asks, who are you? Understanding yourself is never a comfortable process. It demands that you look into the darkness, into the parts of you that you'd rather not see. Envy, cowardice, selfishness, or the fear of being left behind. But it is only when you dare to face these shadows that you begin to understand what true freedom means. Because we are not imprisoned by the world outside, we are trapped by the walls we build within. Honesty is the shortest path to peace. An honest person doesn't need a good memory to maintain their words, doesn't need to pretend to be loved, because they're not afraid of losing what was never truly theirs. Honesty may not make you more likable, but it will always earn you respect, especially from yourself. And courage, as Mark Twain once said, is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. Fear will always exist, in fact. It's proof that you're approaching something meaningful. The brave are not those who never feel fear, but those who refuse to let fear define their limits. We often believe we must change to be accepted, but sometimes what we really need is to understand that we are already enough. When you stop comparing, you start living honestly. When you stop pretending, you begin to feel free. And when you truly know who you are, you no longer need permission to be yourself. Maturity doesn't come with age. It begins the moment you stop blaming the world and start taking responsibility for your own life. That's when you realize no one is coming to save you except you. Because the truth is, the only path to lasting happiness begins within. In the quiet realization that every answer you've been searching for has been inside you all along. A person's attitude toward life is not measured by their words, but by how they respond when things don't go their way. Anyone can appear strong in victory, but it is in failure that one's true character is revealed. Kindness cannot be faked, and compassion cannot be rehearsed. They are forged through hardship, through being hurt, yet choosing not to hurt others in return. Compassion is the highest form of intelligence. It doesn't require us to understand everyone, only to stay calm enough not to judge. Every person carries a story we cannot see. The rude may be battling pain, and the cold-hearted may have once been deeply wounded. When we understand this, we stop reacting and start empathizing. Kindness doesn't need to be loud. Even the smallest gesture, a gentle word, a patient look, can be a light in someone's darkest day. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It's about letting go so your soul can rest. Holding on to resentment is like gripping a blade. The longer you hold it, the more you bleed. Forgiving doesn't make others deserving. It makes you deserving of peace. Some wounds never fully heal, but when you stop reopening them, they stop hurting. Wisdom in dealing with people isn't about saying what others want to hear. It's about knowing when to stay silent. Arguing with a fool only drains your energy. You don't always need to prove you're right. Sometimes, silence is the most elegant response. Because a person's true worth is not in how many they defeat, but in how they remain themselves when misunderstood. Mark Twain once said, "Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Those small in spirit often try to pull others down to feel taller. The truly great inspire you to believe that you too can be great. Choose your friends wisely, choose your words carefully, and choose your battles mindfully. Life is too short to waste on those who cannot see the value of kindness. Compassion and wisdom are two sides of the same coin. A person with kindness but no discernment may be exploited. A person with intelligence but no kindness becomes cold. Only when both coexist does true maturity emerge. When you learn to be gentle without being weak, honest without being harsh, kind without being naive, that's when you've truly understood life. In the end, the strongest people are not those who win the most, but those who can still smile when the world is anything but kind. Compassion is the silent weapon of the wise, and forgiveness is the most refined form of freedom a human being can ever achieve. Amid the seriousness and burdens of life, laughter is what reminds us that we are still human. It soothes pain, softens what cannot be changed, and turns failure into a story worth telling instead of a wound that refuses to heal. Mark Twain once said, "The human race has only one really effective weapon, and that is laughter." Laughter is the one weapon humanity can wield against fear, pain, and the absurdities of existence. Humor, in Twain's philosophy, is not mockery or shallow sarcasm. It is intelligence wrapped in gentleness. Those who can laugh in the face of trouble are not careless. They simply understand that bitterness changes nothing. Laughter doesn't alter the truth, but it changes how we see the truth. A single smile can soften cruelty, can open a door that reason alone cannot. Anger, Twain once compared, is an acid that does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything it is poured upon. When we're angry, we burn ourselves to prove someone else wrong. Anger is a reflex. Laughter is a choice. Those who can smile in the face of insult are not weak. They are simply wise enough not to hand over control of their emotions to others. Humor is how intelligent souls protect their hearts from life's bitterness. In every hardship, there is always a glimmer of light if we are patient enough to find it. When Twain said, "Noise proves nothing," often a hen who has laid an egg cackles as if she had laid an asteroid. He wasn't just mocking vanity. He was highlighting humanity's habit of turning trivial things into tragedies. Humor is the ability to recognize the absurd without letting it disturb your peace. Those who can laugh at themselves have already won half the battle of life. When you can smile at your mistakes, you no longer fear them. To laugh at failure is to learn from it. To laugh through pain is to grow. To laugh at yourself is to become humble. No one escapes mistakes, but only those who can laugh are free from being imprisoned by them. Laughter, too, is a form of courage. In the darkest moments, even the smallest smile is proof that hope still lives. To laugh is not to forget, it is to rise above. Humor is the soul's way of healing, a quiet reminder that no matter what collapses around us, we still have the strength to look up and say, "I'm still here." Mark Twain understood that laughter is the universal language of humanity. It transcends class, age, language, and background. When people laugh together, they momentarily forget their differences and remember how much alike they truly are. A world that knows how to laugh together will need far fewer laws. For laughter not only bridges the distance between people, it also brings them back to themselves. And perhaps that is what Mark Twain wanted to remind us. Learn to look at life through the lens of laughter, for it is the truest sign of wisdom, resilience, and the unwavering faith that no matter how life twists and turns, we can still smile and keep walking forward. There's one truth no one can escape. All of us will one day leave this world. The only difference lies in how we will be remembered. Some people leave quietly, like a sigh carried away by the wind. But others, even after they're gone, still make people smile when remembered. The difference lies not in how long they lived, but in how truthfully they lived. Mark Twain once wrote, "Let us live so that when we come to die, even the undertaker will be sorry." That wasn't just a joke, it was the spiritual testament of a man who understood that the greatest value in life is to live so sincerely that even your absence feels heavy in the hearts you touched. To live kindly is not a luxury. It is the duty of those who still have a heart. Kindness doesn't need to be seen, but it will always be felt. Every good deed, no matter how small, becomes a stepping stone that makes the path easier for those who follow. We can't change the whole world overnight, but we can warm the small corner of it around us just a little more each day. And if everyone did that, even for a moment, the world would be a little less cold. Life doesn't demand greatness from us. It only asks that we don't waste our existence. Every day we live is a vote for truth or deceit, for kindness or indifference, for hope or despair. Don't let busyness turn you into someone who merely passes through life without leaving a footprint. Because in the end, no one will remember how much money you made, but they will remember for a very long time how you made them feel. When you go, you can't take your wealth, fame, or titles with you. All of that stays behind. The only thing that endures is what you've planted in the hearts of others. Live in such a way that everyone who crosses your path, even just once, feels lighter, warmer, more hopeful because of you. Live as if each day were an opportunity to love a little more and laugh a little louder, because no one knows when it will be their last. And if you're reading this now, take it as a gentle reminder. Try living a little differently. Say the thank you haven't said yet. Forgive what you've been holding on to for too long. Reach out to the one you've been silent with. Don't wait until time takes away the chance to realize you should have done it sooner. If these words speak to your heart, leave one simple line in the comments below. I will live to make people smile when they remember me. That's not a promise to me, it's a promise to yourself. A quiet commitment that from today onward, you'll live deeply, truthfully, and meaningfully. Because a memorable life doesn't need to be loud or grand. It only needs to be real enough to make this world, even just a small part of it, a better place because you were here. Life waits for no one, and time never turns back to let us fix what we've missed. Each passing day is a chance to begin again, to love more deeply, to live more truthfully, and to be just a little braver. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you start living, because perfection exists only in imagination. What truly matters is how you choose to live now, with gratitude, with honesty, and with a smile that needs no reason. If these words make you pause for a moment and reflect, that alone is a beginning. Because only when we stop can we truly see the path we're walking. And perhaps this very moment is when you find your real reason to live. Share your thoughts below, even just one line. I will live more fully, starting today. If you believe that each person can make the world a little brighter simply by living more kindly, stay connected to this channel. Here, we don't talk about perfection, we talk about being human, learning to live, to love, to laugh, and to grow. Let's continue this journey together slowly, sincerely, and meaningfully.